And welcome back. This is now People and Politics every Tuesday. And we just need to talk about matters, alliances, and matters political parties. 2022 political drumbeats are actually sounding. We can hear them from afar, but slowly they are coming near us. What are we going to be talking about? I have got two gentlemen who are leading two political parties. One of them, ANC, Secretary General, and another one, Thirdway Alliance, Fredrick Okango, who is a Sec.Gen of the Thirdway Alliance. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Karibu. And we also have Gikuru. Simon Gikuru, who is the Secretary General of ANC Party. Karibu to the show.
Good morning.
Let me just start by asking this question to you, Simon. Why are we not seeing a lot of campaigns happening on the ANC Party?
Well, when you say you're not seeing a lot of campaign happening...
Yes, it's relative.
I totally don't understand where you've been.
Yes.
Because, we've been on the campaign trail. We are, of course, very careful and alive to the issues surrounding the COVID protocols.
Yeah.
But as a party, we have been on the road. We've been everywhere. We've been, you know, like on Sunday, we had a huge rally at Rongai after attending a church service. On Saturday, we had a huge caravan that was actually covered very well. So when you see you're not seeing a lot of campaign, as you said, it is relative. You know,
yes.
we are very committed to making sure we sell our candidate, we sell our party. But even more important, we also stick to the IEBC, you know, timelines.
Yeah.
Because campaigns have not yet
officially kicked off. Yeah.
According to the IEBC whatever guidelines. So we are there. We have our candidate. He's gearing up. You will see a lot of activities from us. As a matter of fact, we know there are people who've been campaigning for the last 8 or so years.
Yes.
And so that is why you feel that you're not seeing a lot of us. But we are very, very prepared to make sure that we hit every corner of this country. Yeah. And we make sure that every one of us, the 45 or so million Kenyans, and even the 19 or so registered voters will have the choice to listen to our candidate, who is His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi. We'll have the chance to listen to our other aspirants, because we are going to be fielding candidates in every electoral constituency. 47 governors, 47 senators, the 290 constituencies. We are going to make sure that ANC has candidates, because we want to make sure that we move from being the third biggest party in Kenya to the first biggest party in Kenya.
Biggest party in Kenya. And Fredrick is giggling when you say biggest party in Kenya. Why, Fred?
No, I'm not giggling. I'm very impressed by the passion that my good friend Simon is, you know, demonstrating. And I think it is important that political parties are strengthened. But it's also important to note that according to the IBC Act, the elections have not yet started.
Yes.
And we are coming from, you know, pandemic that science has demonstrated that spreads faster through contact.
Yeah.
And most of these campaign rallies, you realize there's zero contact, there's zero distance. So you do realize that we have to be very careful and adhere to that. Then secondly, I think this time round, it will not even be a matter of political parties. It will be a matter of what ideology that party stands for, what ideology that candidate stands for, what ideology does that candidate promise to end the struggle, because we are saying struggle is real, and we have said we're looking at a situation where majority of young Kenyans are struggling in their daily lives. Joblessness, unemployment, corruption, lack of inclusivity, lack of strength and devolution to take services closer to the people. That one alone is a struggle that we must break the chain. But in breaking that chain, we must go for political parties that believe in breaking the chain, individuals that believe in breaking the chain, and a community collectively, a Kenya that believes in breaking the chain.
But Fred, you've talked about the youth and all the ideologies that, you know, perhaps each and every Kenyan should look for. This is something that we've had every electoral cycle. Come next year, come 2022, again 2027, I think it will be the same chorus.
That's why it must end. And that's why, as we say, you know, we cannot do the same thing the same way all the time.
Yes.
Things must change. the only way that we are going to change. Do you know that the biggest burden and the biggest struggle that this country is grappling with today is economic burden and corruption? If we can fix those two, they can assure you there'll be opportunities for for creating jobs. There's opportunity for development. There'll be opportunity for healthcare. There's opportunity for even infrastructure development.
Yeah.
And that's why we are saying, we, as young people, as political parties, we must speak out. Through movements, through political parties, on individual level that we are doing here, me and Simon, we must speak out and sell an agenda that is collective and an agenda that can be bought by majority of Kenyans so that they effect that change. Look at the numbers today. We're talking about IBC registering 700 against a target of 400. 4 million. Do you know why? Because Kenyans are wondering, what is a priority? Do I go and get registered as a voter, or do I struggle to ensure that I put food on the table, my children go to school, I pay my rent, I do all these things, my business is at par? That is the struggle we are struggling.
But perhaps somebody can assume that there was no proper voter sensitization. Could that be the reason?
No. Before Simon,
yeah,
it is not true. Voter registration, by the virtue of the constitutional provision, is a continuous process.
Right.
But this is a mass voter registration that happens every time to enhance the numbers. I am a bit skeptical to say that we needed to do more stakeholder engagement, religious leaders, political leaders, the community leaders, to make sure that it works. I am not sure if IBC has done that. If they would have gone that route to ensure that they engage all stakeholders, when you're in your church, you take a BVR registration kit. When you're in a car wash, you take it there. But they say they don't have money to ensure that there are enough registration kits.
Yes,
That's the challenge.
Actually, that's what they said, right, Simon?
Yes, actually, it's very true that there is an obvious apathy. Partly because most of the new voters, if you look at the statistics, we have 5 million new IDs that have been issued. But by the time IEBC was commencing the process of voter registration, out of the 5 million, it's only 150,000.
Yes.
That had been registered as voters. And this comes down to the very basic issues of our society, hopelessness. Because most of these new voters are young people with young families who are struggling, and they see no reason why they would just wake up and go and register as a voter when they feel...
And they would blame that on the leaders.
When they feel, for example, those who supported Jubilee, they did it twice, actually thrice, because remember, the Supreme Court ordered for a repeat, and they have not seen any significant change in their lives. So there is an element of hopelessness, there is an element of disconnect. People feel down in their bones when there is a government that does not...
There's no motivation.
There is no motivation. There is an element of betrayal, because people trusted the Jubilee government, so that, they could see some progress, they could see some future. But at this point in time, you find that most of the young people, the young voters are feeling that, I think, let's leave this thing to the politicians. And so we are here to appeal to young people that it's very important, because we still have a chance. And that is why our elections are after every 5 years, so that we have a chance now
to make a choice,
to make a change. And that is why, as ANC, we are saying that we are not just going to give you rhetoric that, wake up, do, and we are telling you we have a leader.
Yes.
A leader who is tested, a leader who is a father figure, a leader who is not tainted by any corruption scandals, a leader who has the experience, and that is Musalia Mudavadi. So we are appealing to young people that let's not give up yet. There is still a lot of hope, and that is why we must go to the ballot in August next year, so that we can make the change that we want, so that we can have the leadership that we want. Otherwise, I can tell you, Victor, the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, has not made things better. People are suffering out there. People have lost opportunities. Families have separated, because when the economic hardships, the social fabric breaks down. And so that is why this election coming 2022 will be very defining for our nation.
Exactly.
And when you look, so that I'll give you the chance. Or rather, I'll conclude. When you look at the leaders that are now, the way the politics is shaping up, there is a projection, especially by the media, that it is going to be a two-horse race. And this is something that we must tell people that is not the case.
What is the case? Because I'm interested to know. It has been narrowed down to be a two-horse race, as you've correctly put it. Perhaps Fredrick will also chip in, because I don't know we are also going to form to field the presidential candidate. Will you?
But that's a decision that is made by the governing body called the National Governing Council.
All right.
That decision has not been made.
I'll come back to that. Yes.
Part of the reason why young people are feeling that they have no interest in what is happening is because when you look at the horses that they're trying to project as the two main horses, they're too divisive, too antagonistic, too abrasive. And young people are saying, we don't want to get into this mess. And so we are telling them, we are getting you a leader that will come and cool the temperatures, that will come and, get these people out of the way. We want a statesman, we want a father figure, and ANC is offering Musalia Mudavadi to come and get these people out so that our young people can have hope. Because people are driven by hope, by the way.
Okay.
Why did Obama, inspire so many people? Because he was coming out as an icon of hope. But when you hear a government that is headed by someone who comes up and a president and says we are losing 2 billion a day, and he sounds very helpless. It's as if he has nothing to do about it on a national TV and admits we are losing 2 billion a day. What do you think? What pain? What hopelessness does he instill in young people?
Okay, I will ask you later on what your boss or your presidential flag bearer has in store for us, apart from the economic recovery that he's been talking about every political rally.
Very well.
Fredrick,
yes.
What is your take on that?
I think it is true. And when the president says that we lose 2 billion in a day, it could even be more. And these are the struggles that Kenyans are undergoing. The struggle of theft of public money. The president has acknowledged that, we are losing money through theft, thievery. It is a fact. So what we need to do is to look at the leaders in the eye. Who is best suited to protect these 2 billion per day? In any case, if you multiply 2 billion times 360 days, you can imagine how much we are losing. We are losing
billion.
An economy. 800 billion.
We
are losing 800 billion. An economy. It's gone through theft. And that's why we are saying the best way to go through these things, to start at the ballot. To end the struggle, you must start at the ballot. Because the people that steal, it has been systemic, no longer systematic. It is systemic, it is wholesome. It means it is within. And these people, some of them are government officials.
It's a chain.
It's a chain. They're government officials. So what do? We must look at both appointive and elective. Are you suitable as per the constitutional provisions? Suitability in election, suitability in appointment to be in that office. And do you have cohorts outside who are also aiding the theft? Because the young people have been denied opportunity through theft. When you steal 63 billion that is meant to create a dam, you are denying opportunity to the young people that would otherwise benefit from employment.
That's an economic sabotage.
Exactly.
Right.
When you steal 167 billion that is meant for NCPBA, you are actually denying that community livelihood. When you steal billions meant for healthcare, you are denying them oxygen, you are denying them bed space, you are denying them medicine. You are a murderer that in any case should be hanged by the neck till you die, or you should be shot.
Let me ask you, do you vet your candidates before you field them to go and fly that flag for the presidential candidate? Let me be specific to you, because as Thirdway Alliance, you've not come up with a preferred candidate yet, but ANC, you have got Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. What other options do you have?
Well, our party is run under very strict guidelines, in strict observance with the ORPP requirements, and even more important, observing the Political Parties Act. We also have a constitution, and we have used our structures, we have used our organs, and this is not just a one-day event. It has been a process. By the time we came to decide that Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi will be our flag bearer, it was a long, protracted, sort of process. And so for us, we don't have any other option, because we don't have any leader that can match up to what Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi can offer. Yes.
Is he under pressure to join Raila Odinga?
Why would anybody think he's under pressure? And why would anybody want to put him under pressure anyway, if he's not the main person to watch? I'll tell you here on national TV, Victor, Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi is going to be the main determinant factor in this election.
What do you mean?
He's going to be the man to watch.
What do you mean?
I mean, you see, we're seeing all these things in the papers that he's under pressure. Why would you want to put someone under pressure if they don't have something serious, something valuable, something that you feel is significant to offer? It's because Mheshimiwa Musalia is starting at 4 million block of the Luhya vote, which we have already as a party made sure we have consolidated. So Mheshimiwa Musalia is going to be the man of the moment. He's going to be the man to watch. He's going to be the determining factor. And I can tell you, he's going to be the head of state come 2022.
You sound optimistic.
Extremely so.
Yeah.
And when you see people saying, oh, he's under pressure, you see, you not just go out there and get someone and put them under pressure. If you feel that they are not either worth the pressure,
Yeah.
or they are not either threatening your ambitions, or they are not front runners. And Mheshimiwa Musalia under ANC is a front runner in this race.
Okay. I will ask you who is his running mate, because that's now a determinant factor again.
Yes.
Almost all the all the politicians have that secret card. And should I say in their coat, somewhere in the closet or in a safe somewhere, they don't want to unleash it right now. Is there an issue at the Thirdway Alliance, Fredrick?
There's no issue. There were issues, but there's no issue now.
Are you sure?
I'm not only sure, I'm certain.
And
Okay.
again, Victor, just because I can see Fred is a bit shy on that.
Yes.
There
I'm not sure, I'm just certain.
will be always some small things here and there, because you see, when you're in a political party setup, you're dealing with individuals.
Yes.
And the individuals will raise issues now and then. So the most important thing for a party is to make sure you solve your issues in strict observance with your structures, your organs. So whether there are issues there or not, for me, I think it's in every party.
Yeah.
Look at so all these parties. Look at Jubilee and whatever.
You sound like
common.
you're speaking like he's a spokesman.
The issue, and I like to, because Simon is an SG of a party.
Yes.
He knows you might not agree on everything.
Absolutely.
And because you have got unity of purpose, and your division should not be your disunity. Because sometimes division comes because of personal interests, some because of personal ideologies.
Yeah.
But as a party, the expectation is that you have a common ideology. But I agree. The challenges that the political parties are facing are challenges that are internal and can be addressed internally. All political parties have got rules and constitution that allow for internal dispute resolution. And I encourage that. And for our party, we have had challenges before. We have tried our best to try and resolve them. The noise has gone down. We want it to go even further down, and we encourage everyone. And you ask a question, if we are fielding, and I say it's a decision by National Executive Committee or the National Governing Council.
Yeah.
But I think also it is within Dr. Kuru's right to run. He is the party leader who should take the party into an election. So to that extent, Dr. Kuru can run and compete with the other aspirants.
Yes. Do you talk to him as a party leader? Do you have a communication?
Yes, I've talked to him. I've talked to him.
What is the relationship between you and Dr.
I would say for now it's a professional relationship, but we don't talk as much because there's an assignment he's doing currently in outside the country.
Yes.
And once in a while we share.
That sounds more optimistic now for the country, because we usually tend to see a lot of antagonism between the parties, what you call internal wrangles between the parties because of interest and what have you. But let me ask you, Simon, the issue of nominations is a big headache for political party leaders. I don't know how you're going to handle it. And even as party secretary generals, how are you planning to drive the party nominations without any hitches? Because now almost everyone is now looking for Thirdway Alliance party ticket, ANC. We have got so many positions to be fielded in the coming election.
Well, the issue of conducting successful and free and fair nominations is quite a challenge.
Yes.
Because you can imagine that IEBC has a lot of funding, both from government and from other benefactors, but to still find it's always an issue for them to conduct an extremely flawless, sort of an election. So for parties, it's an issue of infrastructure. For example, the ANC party has the elections board as an organ that is mandated to oversee free, fair, and credible nominations. But when you say whether we can conduct them without hitches, I really doubt it is possible, because it's quite a tall order. Why? Yeah. It's an issue of resources. It's an issue of infrastructure. It's also an issue of dealing with mobs, because you'll find aspirants will be mobilizing their supporters. For example, we in Kakamega, whereby we are very optimistic, we are going to get the gubernatorial position as a party. We are already having a lot of heat, okay? Because you can see that our members of parliament who've been there are gearing up for quite a contest. But we have more than one way of resolving this issue. We can either do it through the secret ballot competitively. We can also do it through consensus. But also under our party leader is mandated and by the constitution that he can guide, he can give guidance. So it's quite a challenge, I admit. It's never easy. But we are up to the task, we are prepared, and we hope that through our elections board and our other structures, we will be able to at least make it reasonably fair, reasonably free. Otherwise, it can never be flawless.
It can never be flawless, Fred.
If you check, that's true. If you checked a few months ago, IBC gave the guidelines and they gave a deadline for the nominations to be around May for presidential, and for the others slightly earlier. And last Monday, on 18th, was the deadline communicated by the register of political parties to ensure that political parties submit to her office nomination rules. And that speaks to the point that all political parties have nomination rules submitted to the register. And these political parties, in their nomination rules, they are very different. There are so many ways of achieving their objective. Some go for consensus, as he says. Some go for interviews. Some go for nomination. For secret nomination or secret ballot. Nomination, internal political party nomination has proven to be a challenge, particularly in regions where getting a certificate or a nomination is halfway a win.
So actually, it's perceived that when you have that ticket, you are as good as
so that's why
elected.
You see, nomination is the election before the election in some areas. But I want to urge political parties to try and practice democracy. We are a multi-party democracy, and therefore, in issuing or in conducting nomination, there must be application of the general principle of electoral system, free and fair. It must be seen to be fair, because I've also seen political parties that give nomination certificates to their the leaders give to their slay queens, they give to their wives, they give to their brothers, in nomination. And that brings a lot of animosity and conflict in the party. And those are the reasons why you see some of these parties are fighting. For me, as we head to this election, the biggest challenge that Kenyans are going to have is choosing the right leaders, from MCA to the president. We have seen so many people campaigning, but what Kenyans have not unpacked, who is the best person to lead this country? Who is the best suited to break the chain of the struggle? Who is the best suited to end the struggle? Who is best suited to ensure that, even as we talk about economy, is economy that works? Even as we talk about corruption, is fight against corruption that will be achievable? Even as we talk about gender inclusivity, it is an exercise that can be seen right from your party all the way to the national level, because we cannot talk about what we don't practice in our party.
What will form a direct nomination, for example?
Well, very many factors to be considered. Issues of political parties, as Fred is saying, have to do with a lot of considerations. Issues to do with your contribution, your loyalty, your support. Because, as he said, we have to start practicing what we want to see government doing from the party perspective. Because political parties are vehicles towards achieving political power. So you have to practice what you believe and what you'd want to see practiced in government, right from your party structures. So a direct nomination would be given, of course, to a person that the party feels, maybe, for example, he's leading. You know, if I went to his constituency and we know that he's doing so well, he's already a sitting member of parliament. We can see his track record. He's our MP. He's been so supportive to our programs. Why do we want to subject him to a lot of hassle? You know, are you getting?
Yes.
So issues of loyalty.
Some do opinion polls, you know.
Yeah, if you do a poll and you find Fred here is already an ANC member of parliament for Madare, polls show he's leading. There are a few people who are young people threatening him to take his seat. Why would we subject him to that hassle? And we are already almost sure that we will get the position.
Struggle.
Yeah, but the most important thing is that, and Fred has brought it out, the most important thing for young people is, can we open our eyes wider? Can we look at these leaders more keenly so that we will make a decision? And you say, Victor,
yes,
Kenyans are not lazy people. And Kenyans don't want a government to feed them. Kenyans just want a government that cares. So when you have a government and leadership, you know, that seems so detached from people, that is who people in government who wake up every day and their motive is to embezzle, to steal, to loot. It makes Kenyans very sick. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest challenge we have is the public service. You don't believe this. Corruption is not even perpetuated so much by politicians. You know, politicians will come for a cycle of 5 years and leave.
yes,
But we have a rotten public service. And for politicians, they just get the leftovers. Because you come before you settle properly as a CS or as a PS, then, you know, there's a change of government, you are shifted. But the public service. So we want a leader that will come and face this dragon head on.
yes,
And we are telling people, if you look at the history of Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi, during the KANU regime, there was a very famous scandal that was called the Golden Bag Scandal.
exactly.
And by then he was just newly appointed as Minister for Finance, age of 33, youthful, young person. And he confronted very powerful people then, and he told them, this must stop. So Mheshimiwa Musalia has a track record of facing serious corruption scandals and stopping them. And by then, Kenya was in very bad shape, probably worse than now, or, you know, and even donors had refused to partner with Kenya and IMF, and, you know, and he managed to restore hope and to restore confidence and revive the economy. And we are telling them, after COVID, post-COVID, we need a leader that cares, truly cares. So we're asking them, who can you trust with your vote?
I'm quite curious to see who Thirdway Alliance will pick as the flag bearer. Fredrick, what is the fate of party alliances post and pre-elections? Because just to mention, the deputy president has said that all the political parties who are rallying behind the UDA will have to form a
post-election,
post-election pact.
Coalition.
Exactly. What is the fate of alliances pre-election as we speak?
You see, the Political Parties Act has provided for pre- and post-election coalition agreements.
What are the dangers in pre and post?
The dangers of post, if you don't achieve or you don't show your numerical strength in the share of negotiation, then you'll be sidelined. The beauty of pre is you are in the agreement before anything starts. But remember, the reason why political parties go for election is to acquire political power.
Yeah.
Political power come with funding from what we call political parties fund. Now, if you are in a political agreement or coalition that you are a minority because you did a pre-election and then the funds come, then the owners of that coalition, by virtue of majority, can disregard the agreement and say, you know what, we are the majority here anyway, and our party, we take the largest share. Then you start wrangles. We have seen that before, and my friend here knows that very well.
So for me, the NASA coalition, they had
I would encourage political parties, if you really feel that you are strong and you want to demonstrate your story, you want to offer an alternative, go all the way to the ballot. However, know that the ultimate goal of going to the ballot is to win. So you have to choose. Do you want to go to the ballot to lose, or you want to form coalition with others to win and agree to share the spoils in a gentleman's way, or through the coalition agreement that is submitted at the registrar? The best way the best way, because we are a country that is fighting for inclusivity as a national value and principle of governance.
Yes.
Inclusivity means also bringing people together of the same idea, going for the war, win it, and follow the agreement as per what you signed.
Yes.
That is what will help this country. No one single party is going to ever win this election. The threshold for declaration of presidential elect are two. One, you must achieve 25% in majority of the county.
Exactly.
Two, you must achieve the 50% plus one to be declared the president-elect. I am looking at the numbers.
What of a case of a runoff or a rerun?
You know, a rerun can only come when those two thresholds are not achieved.
Exactly.
So in that instance, then we are likely to see an agreement after the first run that will bring strange bedfellows together to achieve that. But I can assure you, with a proper arrangement, because it is also expensive to go for a rerun. People always say round one. When we go for this election, there are two things that are going to happen. There are people you are going to see in the next 3 weeks will change tact and go and join forces with the people that they never used to work with. Strange bedfellows. Then there are people who, after election, because there's something they're looking for, will go again and join forces with another strange bedfellow. So whichever way you look at it, there will be pre-election and post-election. But what I'm saying in simple terms is the struggle that Kenyans are having is the struggle of delivering of services. Whether you go for post-election or pre-election, what Kenyans want to see in a struggling nation, and for us, the strugglers movement, we are saying, is the end of the struggle. That struggle must end not after election, now, by leadership that is championed by these true and real strugglers.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Simon. As part of the One Kenya Alliance, Sec.Gen of ANC, what is the fate of OKA, One Kenya Alliance?
A good question. I will start by saying I don't speak for OKA, I speak for ANC.
An affiliation.
But we are members of OKA.
Yes.
We are trying to persuade our partners to give this ticket to His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi because he's first among equals. So we are trying to do everything possible within OKA to make them announce him as the flag bearer, because even within our supporters and our party ranks, there is a feeling that as OKA, it could also be another ploy for us to just keep there, while where we are not deciding, and we are getting these complaints that people feel it's a time now. We came out very strongly so that we can also be seen to move, because I remember when we started, you were asking me that you're not seeing a lot of activities. So as Fred is saying, the main issue here is that we want to see continuity of people's progress. We don't want to just have an economy built and then after every 5 years it's then destroyed, then we build, then destroyed, because that has been the very unfortunate situation in our country, whereby you see there has been a cycle of election, violence, bloodshed, then handshake. Election, bloodshed, violence, then handshake.
Yes.
We want to see our leaders shaking hands, either because they're congratulating their partners or their opponents, or because they're conceding defeat. And so that's why we are saying we need to make sure that we look at our leaders, we evaluate them more keenly. Otherwise, as ANC, we are saying let us end this cycle of violence and then people coming up, shaking hands, and then getting to government through the back door. It's an issue of trust. It's an issue of betrayal.
I know you don't hold brief for One Kenya Alliance, but we no longer see them campaign as a team, because they started as a team. We have got KANU chairman Gideon Moi, senator. We have got Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper, and your boss Musalia Mudavadi and Senator Moses Wetangula. We no longer see them work together. Is there something that we don't know?
Well, there isn't anything. Sometimes people want to read too much. There isn't anything in particular. And 2 weeks ago, we were just in Makueni supporting Wiper's MCA. There was a by-election there. All of us were there. And the principals also were in Kirinyaga for the Mashujaa celebrations. And after that, they actually had lunch together. But this is what I can tell you, Victor. Whatever happens in OKA, And we really hope that Oka will give this ticket to Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi. But whatever happens in Oka, we as ANC are going to have Musalia Mudavadi on the ballot.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, Fredrick. What keeps you awake at night?
What keeps me awake at night is the dream that finally the struggle will end. What keeps me awake at night is the dream that the millions of strugglers in this country that are doing and genuine work, putting genuine effort to put food on the table, to end corruption, to center devolution, to bring inclusivity for young people and women, they are putting that energy with the hope that there is a champion of that struggle that will ultimately end it. And that's why some of us are in leadership and politics. We are not in leadership politics to make money. We're in leadership and politics to ensure that we break the chains of the struggle.
What about you, Simon?
I sleep very well, so I don't know what you mean when you say what. I'm just kidding you. I know what you meant.
You know, he's a boss of a party and he's paid well.
When I look,
and he's not a struggler like some of us.
Baby.
When I look at my son's eyes every day, and I think about a situation whereby probably I will not be there, I wonder, will there be a system, a governance system, that will not discriminate him? Will he go to the health facility, get treated, and get back home? Will he go to school, whether there is money or not, get the education that he would want and that he has the capacity to achieve without struggling? For the young people, what's the future of our children? That is an issue that makes my heart skip a beat.
Yeah.
And that is why we are saying we need leadership that we can trust. We need leadership that is tried and tested. And I'm inviting my brother Fred, and he's party leader, because apparently they are not sure whether they are running or not. We can have a pre-election coalition. And
you have an invite on national television.
And that
national broadcaster.
And that way we can secure the future of our children and the children that will come after them.
All right.
Maybe just to respond to him.
Sure. In 1 minute.
I really appreciate what they are doing on a personal level. Honorable Musalia Mudavadi is a very good friend of mine.
Yes.
And is pushing the narrative of economic, Chumi Bora. And that is a struggle that Kenyans are struggling with. And if you look at this election, it is going to be won on the basis of who brings and assures Kenyans and promises them the end of the economic struggle.
Yeah.
All political parties have got a model that they are pushing forward. What remains is who pushes his best and who is believable.
Exactly. Gentlemen, before I finish, in 20 seconds, we saw violence in Busia, and a couple of people were taken to court yesterday and they were charged. Perhaps as Secretary General and as young people leading political parties, perhaps you just speak straight to your supporters out there. And we do not want to go where we were in 2007. Violence doesn't help. Starting with you, Simon, as we close.
Well, I want to ask young people, if you're listening to an FM station, and you have a feeling that you don't like what is being broadcasted, do you smash the radio or do you tune to the next station? So if you're in a political rally or in a political situation and you don't like what is being said, or you don't like the politician, don't throw stones, don't be violent, just ignore them and move on. Keep your ballot and make sure that you will use your ballot to either punish them or to support them. Otherwise, the issue of violence is something that is not only criminal. We as ANC, under the leadership of Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi, we are telling young people, kindly don't get involved in any violence.
Absolutely. Fredrick.
The general principles of election system require that elections must be conducted in an environment that is free from violence. I want to ask the young people, majority of them are strugglers, who are being mobilized to cause violence. We are going to end that violence because the struggles are real. We are struggling with political mobilization where people are put into tribal and they are zoning areas. That should not happen. We are free. The Constitution of Kenya provides for us to speak freely, to associate freely. But that association must be free from ethnic incitement and advocacy for violence. Please, this country belongs to all of us. Wherever you go, wherever you stay, whatever you do, ensure that you are neighborly, you are friendly, because at the end of the day, this country will remain forever for us, and inclusivity is a national virtue.
Absolutely. And at that point, I think it's a perfect way to stop. Let me tell you, use your voter's card and throw it into the ballot come next year. Do not throw stones. All right? Thank you so much, gentlemen. That was Simon Gikuru, Kamau, ANC Secretary General, as well as Fredrick Okango, who is the Secretary General of Thirdway Alliance. We've just finished. Time flies when you're having a good time.
Thank you very much.
Struggle ni real.
Struggle ni real. Okay, we're taking a very short break. Jen
Thank you.
will be coming up next with more. Stick around.